Hi folks, and a warm welcome back to the Financial Freedom Podcast. Today's show is going to be one of our Rewind Replay episodes, and it's none other than John Howard. John's fuller episode can be viewed on episode 45 on the show. However, in this one, we're going to dive straight into the meat and the bones of the essence of what John wanted to get across from his messages. John is one of the most experienced investors in this space, in the private investor, landlord, developer space. So whether or not you're looking to do your first buy-to-let or your first development project, John has some really great advice for you. So he's going to talk about how he's leveraging his rental income. He's going to talk about his golden rules for de-risking for property developers. He's going to talk about his approach to mentoring property developers, and also he's going to touch on his time on Property Elevator, how deals are pitched, what the kind of deals that get funding look like. Always good advice and always good research for you to do in someone this experienced. So hopefully you'll enjoy it, and let's get on with the episode. Just before we get this episode going, I want to give a huge shout out to this episode's sponsor, our friends, one of our great brokers, Simple Fast Mortgage. Now, the brokering industry has good, bad, and everything in between, but also specialisms. And Simple Fast Mortgage, quite simply, specialise in creative property finance. So if you're a property investor and you're looking to buy something quickly, these are the guys that you need to be talking to, because they've been there, done that, and worn that t-shirt. They're investors themselves, and they know how to help. So we'll put it in the show notes as to how to get in touch with them. But Simple Fast Mortgage, go to their website, fill out the contact us, and tell them we sent you. Just before we get going with today's podcast, just a quick announcement that our book is now live on Amazon. If you go and search for Financial Freedom at BDRR, you'll find a book that describes the mindset, strategy, systems that we've put together to deliver over 50 projects in 5 years. We launched it in 2025, and it went to number 1 in 3 separate categories on the bestseller list. So hopefully you'll find some real good value out of it. And just one more time, Financial Freedom, BDRR, on Amazon.
To build your time freedom, like what specific strategies have you used? Obviously, we gave a bit of an introduction before, but just a bit
none whatsoever is the answer.
No strategy, just went and did
no
stuff.
Strategy in terms of time.
No, to achieve the time freedom.
Sorry. I see. Well, if you're self-employed, which I've always been self-employed, really, that gives you the ability to be flexible with your time, basically, doesn't it? And these days, especially these days, you're on your phone. You know, you can be anywhere. In the old days,
you can work from anywhere.
You used to have an office, and you had a secretary, and if someone wasn't answering the phone, you think you're missing the deal. So it's all changed. Everything has changed in the last 40 years.
My first sales job, we were sending letters. The secretary was literally licking the envelopes because we had no email, and nobody had email. And
you don't look old enough for that.
Yeah, well, it was the borderline of, but it was the problem was the clients that we had didn't necessarily still have the operating method of email. We had it, but nobody had it. You know what I mean?
I always see it as smart time. Smart time. And to be fair, as a developer, investor, and I challenge myself to find deals every day. I don't, of course. I get offered lots of deals every day, most of which are a load of rubbish. But I probably waste 90% of my time I'm wasting. You know, we're fools really, because we run around looking at deals, and I try not to look at too many. If I don't, I'm going to buy them, by the way. But you're still looking at deals, doing things, most of which is a waste of time.
It's fun looking at deals, isn't it?
But
we love deals. We do love deals.
It's the 10% that you do. That makes it worthwhile.
So, John, I'm just going to bring you back to the question a little bit, because I think I'm going to phrase it slightly differently. So, we're the Financial Freedom Podcast. We're property based. So,
absolutely.
What strategies have you employed to build a financial base that creates that time freedom?
Okay, what I would say is, for most people and for me, having a rental portfolio gives you that basis of relatively guaranteed income every year and so on. So I think without foundations, you've got nothing. And I think most people in property probably start maybe HMO, that type of thing, and then get a bit tired of that, which is what I did, and then you might start investing in more commercial. But I think that rental income, and I've got a relatively substantial rental income. Of course, the problem with it is mine is quite dated now. So every damn time something comes empty, I'm refurbishing the property, which is expensive. And the yield I get on that property is pretty poor. The only good thing about it is I bought them a long time ago, some of them, and they don't owe me too much money. So I think you have to have...
And some good capital growth, I'm assuming.
Over the years, not much the last few years, of course. You could argue the only reason for keeping residential stock is capital growth. Because if we're being honest, unless you're sweating it and letting it to, housing association or assisted living or something where they're paying the maintenance and everything. Apart from that, the only reason for keeping the stock is capital gain. And we haven't had much capital gain. Yeah. Obviously, certain areas have. But
not
over
the last few years,
last few years. London has been dreadful the last 10 years.
Yeah. So Manchester's probably had a little bit the last few years.
Manchester's been good,
yeah. Not huge.
And funny enough, in Scotland, we're doing a scheme in Scotland.
When you refer to the residential stock, are you referring to, just for clarity, because we get a lot of people who mix these things up. So you talk about baseline.
Yeah, I'm talking about owning flats, houses, all that sort of stuff.
So not necessarily leveraging those to HMO service accommodation.
Yeah, I mean, HMO is good because it's you're sweating the asset more. It's more hard work. It's hard work, isn't it? But you're sweating the asset more.
Hard work, certainly. Definitely.
Yeah, but interesting, Scotland, we've got a scheme there. We're just finishing 12 flats, and they've gone up 10% since we started.
Since you started the project?
Yeah. How about that? That's unusual.
Right.
So that's pleased my bank anyway. So which is unusual because in the rest of the UK, I'd say they really, people go on about 2 or 3%, increase in value. Who cares? It's bullshit, isn't it? It's nothing. Unless you're getting 5 to 10% increase and you can sort of prove it, 2 or 3% isn't.
Yeah, you want probably a minimum 5%.
It's not worth talking about. It's a nonsense. Yeah. It's a nonsense.
Yeah.
And it is flat at the moment, isn't it?
Totally flat. Yeah, totally flat.
So you are looking at adding value through development, or
absolutely.
Or you've got to think about it over a more medium term, longer term.
Yeah, I think people have got to appreciate that properties are long-term investment.
Yeah, it's a cycle as well.
It's a long-term investment for most people. Now, I trade a lot, so I buy and sell, and yes, we do okay doing that, but that's as well as development and so on. But that's a tough gig. To buy and sell, to buy at the right money to be able to sell is hard at the moment because also there's so many people doing it.
You've got the market conditions at the time.
Yeah, and market conditions and everything else.
Yeah, because nobody wants the headache as well. So if I can buy something, just use the leverage that I have, which might be capital available. Yep. Someone's got a problem and I can solve that quickly, and then I can sell it for a profit. Not do any work, then that's there's so many people in that basis now.
Well, the rule we have is this: when we buy a development, if we can sell it with planning for 50% of the profit we'd make if we do it, we sell. And actually, these days, probably a third.
Yeah. It's a good rule of thumb actually, because we've looked at similar. We haven't used that exact rule, but
that's my rule.
We've sort of thought if we're going to make 500 grand, we could make 200 and sell it now, couldn't we? Sort of thing.
The problem with that is, of course, you then spend the next year trying to find a good enough deal to reinvest the money. You think, why have I sold it? I should have done it.
So we are awful at this, by the way.
We've had plenty who want to flip that we're keeping now for that reason.
So we set a target at the start of this year of trading some deals, and pretty much every deal we've got, we've kept.
Okay.
But my thoughts are, if we're going to have that deal,
do you mind me saying you need to come on my 2-day masterclass? You'll learn how to do it then, won't you?
Yeah, absolutely. We know how to do it, but we keep keeping the stuff.
Well, I'll remind you how to do it differently, perhaps. There you go.
Yeah. But if you're going to add value to it in an area that has good rental demand, and it's going to have infinite return, why would you sell it? And pay the tax and everything like that?
Absolutely. Well, the tax is the one big thing.
Yeah.
Of course, the one thing that this Chancellor, and I should say it quietly, hasn't cottoned on to is this: if you refinance a property and take 200,000 or 300,000 out, you don't pay tax.
If it's your own house. Yeah.
Well, if it's not your own.
Because it's debt. Yeah.
So, and of course, property is all about leverage, sensible leverage.
If you keep it,
sensible leverage, refinance, and buy more.
Absolutely.
The danger is always if you then sell it, you then got to pay your capital gains if you've got, but you get some leverage on that in terms of you get some allowances. But if it's your own property, obviously,
hence why great to keep for the long term.
That's why it's the best property market in the world because there's no tax on your own home.
So you've seen a few property cycles and recessions and things like that over your 40-year property journey. Yep. So how does the current market compare to some of those cycles you've seen, and what's your approach the next couple of years moving forward?
So I've survived 3 property recessions. Each one was different. The early 90s, the market dropped 35%. Now anyone will be underwater. We call it being underwater, don't we? Yeah. Where your assets are, assets are less than your borrowers. I've survived 3. It's reading the market. It's really important. Reading the market, and when the market gets too hot. I mean, I always say my dog's called Mabel, and Mabel could make money in a hot market. Because if she put a paw down as a signature on a contract, she'd keep putting it down like that, and she'd keep making money.
Just keep buying. Yeah.
Keep buying. Yeah. Mabel wouldn't know when to stop though, and that is the trick: reading the market. And there's certain signs about a market. Some people think it's never going to stop. Of course, shut their eyes and hope for the best. But we've always read the market quite well. relatively. A bit too early sometimes, but we've read it. And the signs used to be, and not so much now, car sales. New car sales. When new car sales start going down, property normally follows. Now, because of electric cars and all the diesel things, and it's a bit
tax offsets.
It has, it's not like it's difficult to do that one. Auctions are another very great barometer. Auction market, because the auction market is the trade market. Yeah. So when the auction market, when they start going down from 70% clearance rate, in other words, what they've sold, down to 50%. You know there's a problem coming, and vice versa. So you can read the market. When the auction market starts getting more bullish, you know, I mean, some of the, I know some very, very successful property developers and investors. I mean, proper people. They spend the summer in the south of France. They're not on a podcast this time of year. And some of them have bought nothing for 5 years. Right. Oh, we're not doing nothing, John. No, we might put money into someone else's deal, but they're not doing anything because the market doesn't work. That's how they say it doesn't work. Now, we all take crumbs from a rich man's table. We're always ducking and diving, trying to find the next deal, a bit of an angle, this, that. But these guys, girls, no, not doing anything. Shut shop. So do you think 5 years? Poof,
do you think there's actually benefit in trying to time the market, or is it better just always being in the market and staying in the market?
Well, if
I was being honest, I would say never catch a falling knife. Never catch a falling knife. Wait for it to bounce off the floor. And let someone else see it may come up a little bit before you get back in. Now, I haven't really practiced what I've preached. Last 4 years has been very, very difficult, mainly due to build costs, because build costs have gone up substantially 30-40% in my view.
Still keep going up.
And keep going up. And
labour shortage as well is affecting that.
Yeah, because prices haven't gone up. Any mistake is glaringly obvious. And, you know, I've got projects that I haven't done very well on, simple as that, or not as well as I should have done.
Yeah.
But the other thing is you learn far more when things go wrong than
absolutely.
When things go right.
Yeah.
And when all these property educators, and I'm passionate about property education, the right sort, I don't do a lot of it. And there's one or two good property educators out there and some bloody awful ones. And the ones that I really can't stand are the ones who say anyone can do it. Anyone can do it, and anyone can make money.
And they don't talk about the challenges and the risks that come up.
They don't talk about the challenges and the risks. And, you know, with my masterclass I only do 4 a year, but I talk as much about de-risking deals and 100%. How to get out of it if it goes wrong than I do about how well because if they go well, you don't need to worry. You need to know the telltale signs of when it's going wrong and doing something about it before it's too late.
Or having that contingency plan in place to start with. And it's very, very interesting because we do portfolio, but one of our best sales tactics, well, it's not really tactic, it's like when we talk about the things that go wrong and what we do about it, suddenly they're signing up because it's like real discussion. Genuine. It's not like, these guys aren't just bullshitting. And also you're being genuine. The one thing I get when I speak at different events, people come up to me, the one thing they say, it's refreshing to hear someone who says it how it is and they're not trying to sell something.
Do you know one of the things that I got told the other day was, Phil, why do you tell me to stop buying HMOs? When you're an HMO developer. I was like, well, because you've got enough.
Yeah.
You don't need to do any more.
Yeah, flip to
do something
else.
That's got more capital growth or something that's easier. Maybe look at commercial. It's like, oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird because, you know, when it's one of the reasons he signed up to originally to do his HMOs is because I told him once you get to that level, you don't do any more HMOs.
Yeah. No, he wants to carry on.
Yeah.
One thing I always say to people also is that there's lots and lots of ways in making money out of property. And it's not really for a property educator to tell you which one to do. What they should be doing is explaining every angle to you, and then you decide how you want to spend your money. Because if you're not interested in it or you're not passionate about it, I'm not passionate about HMOs. In my day, there were bed sits.
Of course.
Coin meters into a meter.
Yeah, of course.
Meter box.
Those still exist.
Adding up those 50 pence pieces was a bloody nightmare.
Yeah.
I tell you. And it has I've got no interest in doing that in HMOs. So I don't do them. And I've got a friend of mine who buys and sells lock-up garages. I mean, he's the most boring bastard you ever met.
There's money in boring.
But there's money in boring.
Absolutely. That's investing in
and he loves it.
Yeah.
But I mean, who would have thought, buying lock-up garages? So, there's lots of ways of making money out of property. And it's not for the educator who's normally pushing them down one way, because that's all they know, by the way, to decide. It's up to the person. It's their money and it's their career. So,
it's a good point because we know a lot of people who do a lot of property education and they sort of jump from one thing to the other.
A strategy and all this. As if it's new.
Yeah.
There's nothing new in property. The one that really gets me is the title splitting 2-day course. Ring your solicitor up. It takes 2 minutes to tell him or tell her, I bought 4 flats. I want to sell them off individually one by one. Here's the plan that's land registry compliant. Get on with it. That is, how long will that take? A minute?
Yeah.
That's all you need.
And then underneath of that is
Crazy.
It's only going to add value if they're worth more as the individually parts than it is as the sum of the parts. Title splitting is this. You buy something in one unit, which is worth something, and then when you split them individually, they're worth more. If they're not worth more, you keep the one unit. Right? Because it's not worth doing.
One great strategy is if you're buying 10 flats, 5 flats, sell 2 or 3, keep the others, refinance, move on. That way you can get your money out, because it's very hard to get your money out on a one-off deal these days. All your money out, I think. But it's
challenging. It's challenging. And we have lots of those discussions with new investors that go, I want to do this and I want all my money out.
It's not realistic.
How many? What are you getting at the moment, and what return are you getting, and how many have you done?
The two things you always get is what you're looking for: 10 grand a month cash flow and all my money out on every deal. And I'm like, well,
good luck.
Do you earn 10 grand a month cash flow now? No. Yeah. Well, that's not what you need.
Ain't gonna happen.
And number 2, how many all money out deals are there available? Well, unless you buy and sell, there's no all money out, is there?
Very, very challenging. Or you've got to add a lot of value, don't you? Right. So obviously you're a strong advocate for de-risking.
Very much so. Doesn't always work.
What I want to know is, exactly. No, I agree.
Doesn't always work.
I agree with that as well. So what are some of your sort of like key golden rules for managing risk before committing to a deal?
Okay, so I've got 3 golden rules for people, and they are this. 1, you should be able to buy if you're buying a property, you should be able to sell it on before you paid for it for more money. Because if you can't, it's not a deal, is it? If someone else isn't going to pay you more, you should be able to buy it, refurbish it, and sell it and make a good profit. You should be able to buy it, refurbish it, refinance it, and get, I think, realistically, 50% of your cash back. These days, it used to be a lot more than that, but it's not at the moment. But if you buy 3 flats, you should be able to sell 2, keep 1, refinance, get all your cash back.
Or simple thing. If you had to
simple.
So let's say I did put 200 grand into a deal. Once it's finished, refinance, you get 100 back. That's that would pass that bracket.
You always need your dealing money back. You've got to keep your money moving.
Because that's momentum investing at the end of the day, and otherwise it's just tied into it.
And that's where auctions are so useful, because people look at auctions and they think, oh well, I'll shove it in auction because I can't sell it, or I'll buy at auction because they're cheaper at auction. But actually, putting things in auction is great for cash flow, because it's not like begging a solicitor to exchange contracts on a Friday.
You've got an agreed time frame,
you've got your money within a month.
Yeah.
So I love putting things in auction and trading. And I mean, if I never had to develop anything, I wouldn't. I'd just trade. If I could buy portfolios and break them up, so cash and carry. It's all cash and carry. Yeah. You buy it trade price, big box. You then split it up, sell them off individually, the contents of the box. Simple.
Let me just recap. So it's 3 rules that you said there.
Yes.
So you're buying a property and you could basically, you're getting it below market in a way, and you could sell it for a profit regardless.
If you're not getting it below market, don't waste your time.
So it's not so you're saying
simple as that.
It needs to be a good deal in the first place. You can sell for a profit regardless of anything.
If you buy right, you can always sell.
Yeah. And then number 2 is you refurbish that property, you should be able to sell for a profit.
Good profit.
And then number 3 is if you refurbish it, refinance it, you should get minimum 50% of your money back.
So.
Yeah.
Realistically,
I really like that.
That's pretty much how our business works.
It's simple.
We haven't documented like that, but it's kind of like
copy that. You're going to take it off me now.
We're going to take it off you. Absolutely.
That's it.
I've just wrote TM at the top of that.
Yeah. Well, if you want, to be fair, I am.
We don't trademark solicitor as well, by the way.
To be fair, I am these days, due to my age probably, I am getting involved in some non-exec directorship roles. Yeah. So I am available to you. So if you think I can add value, I've just become a non-exec of a housing association act, which is very interesting.
That's cool.
Very interesting. And it's a housing association for profit, and there aren't that many of those around. Very interesting. I'm learning quite a lot.
I don't understand the not.
I almost have to.
I don't understand how they can grow. How do you grow? if you're not for profit?
The answer
is big salaries, isn't it?
Well, there you go. The answer is yeah. I mean, it's a very interesting area because, of course, our friend, what's her name, Raina, she's made 39 billion available over 10 years, which means she won't be 10 years because she won't be in for 4, won't she now? But she's made 20 billion available to social housing companies. So the money will be there to invest and buy off developers and all sorts. So it's quite an interesting area.
My original background was recruitment, and I would recommend to anybody in recruitment to go and target, if you're in that space, housing providers in the social space who need good senior managers at the moment because of that.
Absolutely.
The amount of money available. If you get good finance managers, good development managers, good
and there's
good
an awful
CEOs,
lot of housing associations
who
have got all sorts of trouble because what they've done over the years, they haven't looked after their stock well enough. They've got damp issues. EPCs have got to get. I think they've got to get up to B or something as if you're social housing, rather than C. I think so. I might be wrong there, but I mean, at the moment, some of them are D&E. They've got mold. They've got problems.
A lot of compliance.
The time they've repaired them, they can't go and buy anything. What they really want to do, most of these housing associations, sell their old stock and buy brand new because of the 10-year warranties on it, and it's clean, and that's what they want to do. And they're not able to because we can't buy as a private investor. You cannot go and buy housing stock off housing associations because they've got social tenants. You can't take over social tenants. So they have to sell vacant. Of course, as soon as they get vacant, they've got no income. So it's aspiring.
Basically hardly
it's
ever
difficult
for
them to actually get rid of this stock. But fun enough, they can now sell it to us because I'm involved with a social housing company. So we can buy the stock and we can inherit the tenants because we're a social housing association. So we can do it.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. So you work with a lot of new developers, property developers. You mentor new property developers as well?
So I work with, I don't work with a whole load of people because I'm busy doing my own stuff. And I think if you're going to get any advice of a property educator, I'd always want to know what are they doing? Are they purely educators? And there are people who are just purely educators. Nothing wrong with that. Or are they looking to, use your money to increase their businesses? Or, are they looking for angel investors? Is that why they're doing it? There's lots of things. I would just check them out. Just research people before you invest money with them is what I would say. And
how do you counter that with because we get people approaching for mentoring and things like that, and one of the biggest challenges we have is it's time consuming, and people can be demanding and things like that. And obviously we're doing lots and lots of projects, so our challenges is because we're doing so much of the development and the projects and the sourcing, it's hard to do the mentoring.
Oh, you take holidays, though, don't you, and things like that. I don't do that. I don't take holidays. I work 7 days a week if I have to.
You say they're holidays, but with 2 young kids, it's more stressful than
we don't.
I took my first.
Don't mind me saying that's your fault, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So that's your fault.
That's my first 2-week holiday this year for 4 years.
Yeah, well done you. Yeah. Okay, so
I've taken a lot more than
you had 14 weeks last year.
Holidays are basically no interest to me whatsoever. So what I would say is what I do is a one-to-one. So I get people who perhaps they haven't all got a lot of money, but I get people who perhaps have got £1 million to invest, not sure what to do. They want to pivot to another. Perhaps they've got just property investments and they want to pivot to development. Or I've got people who have got less money than that, but want to start in the right way. So I can save them the first 2 years of pain, really, is how I see it. So they don't make a mistake. Yeah. It's not the amount of deals you do, it's the quality of those deals. Yeah. Do one good deal a year. I get people to come, I want to do 5 deals in the first year with you, John. I said, it's not going to happen.
It's a bit of an ego thing.
It's not going to happen. Yeah. If we can find one good deal, and you're happy with that deal, and also risk is all relative to that person. So I've got... I won't say where he's from, but I can say his name, Simon. Now, Simon, successful businessman. He's probably got £1 million to spend. Very cautious.
Yeah. Taking him a long time to build
exactly.
$1 million.
So his profile would be he's not going to make a whole load of money because he's very cautious. He's going to do okay, and he's going to build what he's got. And he doesn't need to take risks because he's got money.
Yeah, it depends where you're at.
It depends where you are and how old you are and so on. So for someone like Simon, he's very professional, very thorough, very cautious, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. More cautious than I would be. Then I've got a footballer, who very bright, former footballer, very bright guy. He's a bit more relaxed, takes a bit more chances, bit less money than Simon, but he's still got some money to invest. And then I've got someone else with substantially more money, who just getting into it. So he's got a clean piece of paper to write on. So I've got to make sure he goes the right way. And then I've got other people who, I've got one or two others who are modest, got modest amount. I think genuinely, for me, they need to have 100,000. If they've got 100,000, I can help them. And most of my advice and my consultancy is based on action. So, if they haven't got the money but want to do it, I tend to send them to someone else I know who I can trust to look after them and get them going. So I tend to deal with people with a bit more money. First of all, the first thing I do, if they've got assets, it says, right, let's look at your assets. Let's see what your loan to value is on those assets. If it's not enough, let's increase it to get more wedge out, to have more of a...
Raise some funds,
release some funds. Equity. If you're a little bit high, let's sell something and reduce your borrowings, because you don't want to be over leveraged. But you can be too clever. You can be too clever with the leverage. You can be super clever and borrow 80% and think, oh, Christ, this is great. I've managed to borrow more than everyone else. Market goes a little bit wobbly. Yeah, suddenly you're in trouble.
And also you can
be too clever sometimes.
If your valuation's been too high and you're at 8%.
You've sometimes a value. Absolutely. Sometimes a value can do a disservice.
Yeah, we've asked values been brought down for that reason occasionally.
Yeah, I had a valuation the other week. And he rang me up. Oh no, the bank rang me up and said, "I've had the valuation in, John." He says it's 200,000 more than you're paying for it. Yeah. Well, why is that? I said, "Because I bought it cheap."
Yeah, good deal.
Got a good deal. Yeah.
They're worried about it.
Yeah,
it must be fraud.
About it.
Yeah.
I said, "How bloody insulting is that? Fraud? It's not bloody fraud. I just bought it the right money."
Yeah.
Why
do lenders get annoyed when it's a good deal?
You can't win, can you? If it's the other way round,
your valuation to be down than up.
Yeah,
as a bank,
it's absolutely bonkers.
So they can lend you less, but be more secure that their valuation is
that's
insurable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah. So just going back. So what I would say is, everything I do with people is based on action. So I want them to be able to bring me deals that I can help analyze. Every time someone looks at a deal, they're learning. We all are. How to analyze it. I can analyze like you can. We can all sit in here. We can analyze deal within 5 minutes at the most, probably 3 minutes.
Yeah, very quickly.
It's not difficult. And then if it looks on a fag packet, it looks like it works, then you can look at it in more detail. I get people come to me having done a day's data research. Why? It's a crap deal. You can see it's a crap deal from within 5 minutes. Chuck it in the bin.
Yeah. Don't waste time on it.
Don't waste time on it. It's beautifully presented. I say it's lovely, but I'm afraid it's no
good colour scheme.
Good colour scheme.
Nice spreadsheet.
So that's the sort. So I act like as if I'm a non-exec director of their company, really, but I'm not, if you get my. I mean, that's the sort of role I take.
Yeah.
Which is different so we don't have a syllabus. We don't have something that says what is a 3-bedroom semi.
Yeah.
And what is a detached house and all this silly business. It's well advanced of that.
Yeah, sounds good. So just want to give some advice for a lot of our listeners that
please do
early in their property development journey. So if you've got 3 sort of top tips for someone that's early in that journey, like give us your 40 years of experience, your top three things you could.
Let me give you the most basic mistakes people make, because I think that's a good start.
Definitely.
And then the advice, because I think so. The first thing is people paying too much, listening to what the agent says, listening to the agents are bullshitters. I should know.
You just need to forget the asking price.
I employ 40 of them, and they're all bullshitters, and they wouldn't know a deal if it hit them on the head. They're in a different business to that, to be honest with you. That's the first thing. So paying too much. The second thing is underestimating the build costs.
Yes, absolutely.
And we all do that because and part of it is because you're trying to make it work. If you've got to make it work and force it to work, don't buy it. It's got to be natural.
It's also a balance, isn't it? Because if you're obviously too conservative, you can kill a deal.
Of course.
And if you underestimate, it's just
it is
getting
a
that
balance. It's getting that mental balance. And one week you might be more ballsy about something, the next week not so ballsy. And that's the thing. The third thing is timescale. How long it takes to do it. Because time is money, and that can be, when you're only borrowing money at 12%, which we all are.
Well, plus fees.
Plus fees. Yeah. I mean, what annoys me, I'm borrowing money at the same price as someone who's only just started their career.
Yeah. There's no categories and balances.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That can't be right. I'm sorry, that cannot be right. Yeah. Now, when I'm borrowing money off they call them not called merchant banks anymore. I'm going back years. We had a checkbook and everything in those days.
I never heard that term.
Merchant banks. Yeah. So when we were borrowing money, well, we still did from Coots, NatWest, Barclays. That is slightly different because they won't deal with people with no experience, but their interest rates aren't much cheaper than the bridges. So you end up going, well, I'll use the bridge because I get it within a month. You know, I'm no messing around. You lot, 3 months and we're still faffing around. So time is money as well as the other way around. So
absolutely.
I've given up with most of the banks.
So you say a mistake there is people also underestimating, say,
timescales to do the work and timescales to sell it, because half of them think...
Yeah, and the cost of the borrowing. And
the cost of borrowing, exactly. So it all rolls into one. So the biggest thing, you know, they think it's going to sell overnight. It may not sell for 6 months.
Yeah. Somebody said to me again last week. Only last week. Oh, I've got a private investor, but it's like, it seems quite expensive at 10%.
Take it.
Yeah.
Take it.
I'll have it any day of the week. Like, what are you talking about? You know, we were paying 12 plus fees.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, take it. Bridging all in's, 15 to 18% if you add it all up usually.
It's very hard to make money at that level. It really is. Now, I lend some money on a second charge sometimes. And if I could do that all day long with the right deals, I'd do nothing else than that. Because that is good money. That's proper
passive,
money.
Isn't it?
Passive. Well, passive point of view, I always have to get involved.
Yeah, you need to know and understand
and that's the difference between myself and perhaps an angel investor. Is that if I'm lending the money, and I don't do it very often, but if I do, they get me as well.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure.
When you say that, so you visiting site?
Yeah, absolutely. Like that. I want to know I'm going to get my money back.
Yeah.
And quickly. And the good thing about that as an investor, and there are people who are obviously going to be listeners who are investors, angel investors who want to invest money in inspiring young people, is that the good thing is you are more expensive than the bridger, because you are the second charge money on the whole. So they will refinance you. If it's a good deal, they will refinance you before the end of the deal because you're cheaper.
Yeah.
As long as there's enough equity in the deal. So that's perfect for an angel investor.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as it's a good deal.
Yeah, because
the numbers are right as well.
And the numbers are right, yeah. And every deal has a challenge. I've never done a deal, I don't think, well, apart from where I buy and sell same day or whatever, which is very hard to do. I don't do it very often. And I explain about that in my masterclasses. But if I'm actually buying a deal with developing it, I've never had a deal which hasn't had a problem.
Yeah, there's always a
problem. And you have to be realistic, you know.
Yeah.
You have to be you have to go in with your eyes open.
There'd be no need for the word contingency if everything was easy with the
contingency.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to touch on before with the time scale. A lot of people just forget. They go like, "Oh, that's the build contract. That's the time scale." I'm like, "No, we've got contingency for cost, which is X percentage. We need a contingency for time."
When you work it out, you've got to buy bloody cheap to make good money. You really have. And all this business about the agent says, I don't care what the agent says. What is it? He's or she's an irrelevance. It's what the buyer's going to pay. He even doesn't care what the seller thinks, to be honest with you. If the seller needs to sell and the best price is your price.
And if somebody's willing to pay more than you are willing to pay,
good luck.
That's the life.
Yeah.
That's
the life that we live. The one thing I think about that, if someone's willing to pay more than me, I think they've spent the money now.
Yeah, they're not going to make the money.
And they've spent the money, and there's less competition for the next deal, especially if it's local to your area.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah.
If it's local to your area, and you know the players, or even if it's an local auction to you, you know the players, and they've bought something. The biggest problem, I talk to banks a lot, and the biggest problem they've all got now is their clients can't get their money out of the existing deal they've got. So they might be able to pay the bank off on a refinance, but they can't get their cash back to go again. And that's why we're picking up things cheaper, especially with auction. I know you don't walk into an auction room now, mate, because it's all bloody online, which is very boring, and because it's great networking in the room. But I always say, when you walk into an auction, you're walking in with no problem. Don't walk out with a problem you can't solve. You might as well keep your cash, powder dry for the next one. Yeah. So people are I think people tend to think they lack confidence in finding deals, and they think they've got a deal and they're going to make it work, whatever. And that's not the right attitude.
Yeah, or they just think, I was on for 200, I've got it for 180.
Yeah,
and just like, it's a good deal.
And I've been working on it for 2 months, and I can't let it go.
Yeah.
They get emotionally involved, and there should be no emotion in it. I haven't been doing these masterclass and stuff for very long, really, because I wrote a book, and that's led to me talking to you, really, because till then I was just a hard-nosed property developer thinking of retiring. But anyway, a few years ago, and I had a journalist come to one of the first masterclass things I did. And he wrote this article afterwards, said, I've been to a most interesting masterclass, very unusual, this, that, and the other, from someone who's been in the business a long time. And the biggest thing that comes out of it is that he's got no passion for property whatsoever. He just wants to make money. And I went, what a bloody cheek. And then I sat down and thought, he's probably right.
Is he right?
He's probably right.
That's a good question.
He's probably right. That's how I come across. And it is a business. Yeah. You know, I get people say, isn't it? You must be so proud of some of the Great U Star. We've done our Great U Star buildings, historic buildings. You must be so proud of them. And I thought, well, not if I've not made any money. And no, I'm not that proud, actually. I'm more proud of something that I bought and sold and make some money on. And you do get like that. You get very hardened to it. You must be the same. You get very hardened to it. You know, some of the most prestigious projects I've done are probably the ones where I've made no money or a little bit of money. Whereas
I think it's always good to see the transformation. But like you said,
exactly.
If you've got a sour taste because you haven't made any money, you look at it at the end and go,
the local community love it, but it doesn't mean you made any money.
Yeah.
What's the most fun thing you're doing now?
I think the most fun thing I do now is the consultancy. Okay. Talking, helping other people, because I'm not under that pressure myself. It's not my money, which is always nice for a change. So normally my neck is on the line.
Yeah. So the emotional aspect's taken out, and you can really logically assess things, can't you?
And I work with some really interesting people who are successful quite often in their own careers so far. And I really enjoy, when they get that first deal, or maybe I'm supporting them through that deal, or maybe it's a problem and they brought me in to help sort it out. So I really do enjoy that. And going forward, probably I will do a bit less development and a bit more of that, and a bit more of investing long term, because the reason for that is this. I've got 2 stepdaughters, and we've got a relatively reasonable sized portfolio. So going forward, they're going to have to know what to do, how to do it. They both work in the business.
How to look after them.
Absolutely.
Like that,
I'm very passionate about
how to manage it.
Women in property, and I've been going around doing speaking at Hard Hat and Heels, which is Hayley Andrews.
Great,
like Hayley,
it's just opened up in Manchester.
So I've done Manchester, I've done Sheffield. She's got me for a right mug. I'm doing them all. So I've got to go. And when you go and do these events, you're the only man there. Now, when I was 30, that would have been all right. I wouldn't be quite so scary as it is now, I don't think, but it's quite daunting. 60, 70, 80 women, and I do a lot of banter when I speak, as you can imagine. So I have to be a little bit careful.
Yeah.
And
you're fairly straight talking, John.
At least I call that. Yeah. So, but I'm very passionate about women in property. In fact, with our estate agencies, out of 45 people we employ, 38 are women. So
we're a similar percentage in ours, actually.
50, and they're organised. They're organised.
75% women.
They're organised. They're disciplined. They're hardworking.
Yeah.
So the Hard Hat and Heels thing. Why did I mention that? Remind me. What was I talking about?
You're talking about long-term investing with your.
Yes, I was. Yeah. So although they're very, very capable of sorting these out, doing, I believe, smaller deals. I don't mean that disrespectfully. They don't want to take the risks that I take some of the bigger projects, like the 85 flat tower block we're doing, we bought for £1. Now everyone goes, oh wow, you bought it for £1.
Yeah, but the cost.
I need a £3 million grant to make it work. So it's minus £3 million at the moment.
Invest a lot of money
you know what I mean? So but going forward, they'll be very good at looking after what we've got and growing it on a rental commercial basis, rentals, that type of thing. But I don't think they're going to want to put their asses on the line like I have to get where we are now. So I think that's important. So I think I'm keen to work with more assisted living companies, because you can sweat the asset more with them. 5 years, fixed rate, fixed interest and everything else, fixed fixed.
No maintenance.
No maintenance. I'm keen to do that. I'm keen on the social housing side because I think that's a bit different and interesting for me. So I want to go slightly more down that route and maybe do, because we buy all over the UK, and maybe just stick to buying in Norfolk and Suffolk, a little bit, Essex a bit, which I've just bought 3 deals in the last 3 months locally. Quite nice deal. So, but it depends. I get a phone call from someone in Wales who says, I've got this great deal, John. Yeah. Come down.
You still want to
come down. We'll put you up in a 5-star hotel for the night. I'm such a mug. I'll go down, and look at it. So
depends where in Wales and what 5 stars means.
Yeah, it does, absolutely. But Cardiff's good news.
So when you said you didn't take holidays, it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. That's my holiday, yeah. Go look at the deal, yeah.
Can we just touch on, because I don't think we touched on it at all, just the programme.
Yes, Property Elevator.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm glad. Thank you for saying that.
Because I gave you an opportunity there. What's the most fun thing you did? And you didn't say Property
Elevator. That's exactly what I was expecting. I'm like, this is definitely...
No, you wouldn't if you have to work with the people I work with on the show. Okay, Ranjan, Haley, Paul Mahoney, Nicholas Warwick, and that bloody Scott Marshall. You wouldn't either, I tell you now.
Well, we do clips of this, so I'll make sure that's one of them.
Because we know a few of those people, so we need to be careful.
Yeah.
They know what I'm like. Yeah. The nicest person on the show is Lizzie Warburton, the presenter. And we gave her her first job in TV, and she stuck with us rather than the other way around. And she's lovely. She's a great presenter, Lizzie, and I'm very, very fond of her. And she's gone on and done some really good stuff. So that's really
good, isn't it? That's really nice.
That's really nice. Yeah. And she knew more than we did to start with, and she still knows a lot more than we do. Yeah. But I tell you what, the first couple of series, Simon Zushi was in it, and Nicholas Wall has been in it all the way through. Ranjan turned up as well because he thought he was missing out on something.
Cool.
So and what happened was in those days when we started it, I was asked by Sky, by Property TV, who on Sky, can you think of any property shows? So I said, yeah, to do. I said, I can. And they were, what is it then? So I had to quickly make it up on the spot, and so I did that, and we owned it 50-50, and then first 2 or 3 series, and then we started getting some sponsorship and stuff because in the early years, the other angels on there would pay me to be on the show because they could find a deal and so on. So I got paid.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And then what happened? Ranjan said, "Well, I'm the star of the show." Debatable, Ranjan, but if that's what you think, and as such, we don't think we should be, we should be paying, doing anything because we should be you're getting sponsorship now. So I said, look, I'll tell you what I do. I'll buy the half off Property TV, which is what I did, and I'll sell it to you guys. So now we all own it.
Oh, that's good.
I'm still the chairman because someone has to control it. Otherwise, it's a shitstorm, to be honest with you.
Especially with big personalities, right?
Yeah, and especially when we do a live version sometimes. We did a live version at Milton Keynes a few months ago, and of course, live is really difficult because you got an audience, and you got Ranjan. So Ranjan turned up in whites with white trainers.
Right.
So I mean, he's the gift that keeps on giving. He's the gift that keeps on giving to me because I say, well, Ranjan, when's the cricket match start? How long have you got? It's just so easy. He's so easy to wind up. It's great, and he's a great sport, and I'm fond of it. And so many people come to me and say, do you really not like Ranjan? I said, well, of course I like him. He's a good guy. But we have great fun on the show, and the key to the show is 2 things. One, it's entertaining and there's banter. That's the first thing because we know each other well and we know how far we can push it or not. And the second thing is it's educational. The third thing is, which is the bonus, if everyone gets any deals done, to be honest with you. And we'll never embarrass anyone who comes on the show. What we really want is a really cocky young guy to come on the show and be disrespectful to us all. Because then we could take him
really
to the cleaners. But we never get that. We get humble. We get, thank you so much for having me on the show.
I've got a few Instagram accounts. You could probably get your production team to reach out.
I would love that because honestly, everyone is so lovely and so nice. And when you have to let them down, and of course, on the show, I'm perceived as the sort of, bastard's a bit of a strong word, but so because you have to.
I was letting you answer.
Yeah, thanks. You have to have different personalities on the show, but it's boring otherwise.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm like the one. I'm the hard nosed one. Ranjan wants to be popular because he's got 80,000. Did you know he had 80,000 YouTube followers?
He might have mentioned
it a few times.
I think he mentions it, yeah.
Every time I see him.
Just say, not at 100 yet,
and we do the Property Questions show together, Property Questions, which is on his YouTube, of course. And then we got Nicholas is very bright. So Nicholas is super bright. Nicholas looks at a deal, he waits till everyone else to say we don't want it. And then he finds another way to do it. Yeah. And of course, with property, one of the big things I find is people don't set the deal up correctly. Setting the deal up correctly in the first place so that you're in control of the purchase rather than the seller being dictating to you is really important. How you deal with that, how you set it up. Might get a delay completion, you might get this, you might get that. Really important.
Yeah, early exchange.
And we've got Paul Mahoney, who's the son I never had really. He's a very good-looking Australian, very successful, not just in property.
He's the one who gets the most clips on, by the way. You know,
funny,
you see him swinging around the platforms. He's the one who's almost always...
Of course he does. He's clickbait.
Clickbait,
Why do you think he's on the show? He's really bright and a really nice guy. Very, very bright. And then we've got, who else we got? Oh, Hayley, who is the data queen. She drives me nuts because she wants to look at data all the time. And I said, Hayley, we haven't got time for that. We only see the deal 15 minutes before they come in.
Yeah,
right.
Of course, Hayley doesn't like that. She likes to.
Everyone's different in how they analyze things. Everyone's different.
She's very talented and very organised and very disciplined how she looks at deals. Whereas I go,
works or doesn't work. Yeah,
Hayley tends to. She very much believes in the data. I might look at data once I've agreed to buy the damn thing or something, but I'm not data driven. Which I know it's a modern thing, data, and there's some great sites out there for that. But I'm much more. Two things I would always do. If I don't know the area, jump in a taxi. The taxi driver will tell more about an area than anybody else will. Certainly the agent.
Fair point. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're looking at an auction property and you want to know all about the auction property, go and see the next door neighbour. He'll tell you more about it than anyone else will. You know, things like that. And also, you know, obviously land registry tells you, but land registry doesn't tell you what side of the road it's on, where the sun is in the back garden or not.
Yeah.
So all those can...
Yeah, you can't tell from a computer.
The sales value of a
so
property.
Talk to an agent. Don't believe everything they say. Not 5%
Although the title does have a directional compass on it.
Oh, it does. I don't even look at them. I'm spoiled. So
but I think what you're saying, it's a bit like when you analyse a property before you view it. And then you go and view it and you're like, oh, I didn't realise that. I didn't realise that.
There is a bit of a balance to it. And Hayley, we tease each other about it. But I mean, she's very talented. She really supports women. So if women come on the show, they're really aiming at, I mean, they don't even look at us, they look at Hayley. And we go, well, the rest of us are here, you know. And then we've got Scott, who analyses the deals as the banker. And he's very good at analysing it at the end and explaining it simply to people. He's very, very good at that. Talks too much, but I have to shut him up all the time. But he's very good at that. So it's a really good team. And obviously we film over 4 days. We film in their old studios. And it's a proper production, you know, 7 cameras.
Shark Tank.
12 lights. Oh,
that's American.
That's the American version. So, you know, it's a full production now. You know, it wasn't when we started, but now every year it's grown and you know, Roma sponsor it, which is great. And that's really pushed it onto another level, really. So the 8th series comes out in September on Amazon. We're now Amazon Prime.
So that's filmed, is it, the 8th?
That's all done.
It was Sky Arts,
It's believed in the can. That's what it's called, apparently.
In the can.
When we got the new production company 2 or 3 years ago, they said, we've got a talent calls at 10. We all went round going, talent call? What does that mean? That's you lot.
Oh, right.
Talent. We're talent, apparently.
Ranjad loved that.
Oh, God. Oh, my God. He turned up last time in a suit, time before, actually, in a suit. And I said, you look like a 1970s porn star. And that's the only time he's ever got the hump with me.
Oh, really?
I think he had a bad morning. He got there a bit late. He was a bit flustered. And I went, first morning of the show, filming. We film over 4 days. And I went, you look like because he sits next to me. I said, you look like a 1970s porn star. And it was on camera. And he didn't like that very much. He got a bit upset. I did apologise. It's the only time I've ever apologised to him. I think I went a bit too far.
It's fair. It's probably fair.
Fair enough. I mean, he spent a load of money on it. He thought he looked great. It's all in the. It's all in the eye of the beholder, isn't it? So you know, we have great fun. Good. We obviously go out for dinner every night, and it's lots of banter, lots of fun, and it's educational, and you know,
people can get deals.
Absolutely,
tune in and about.
And it's an opportunity. And the other thing, it's an opportunity for people. If you haven't got the funds, you know, the whole point is we will look to fund the deal.
Real people,
relationships
real deals
as well.
Yeah. That's the thing I took away.
Relationships,
which is the episodes I've seen.
Yeah.
It was all of the data and all of the questions. Ultimately, the best people got the money.
Yes, because you're investing in the person as much as the deal.
Yeah.
Because you'd ask 2 or 3 questions. Yeah. They had the answers.
Yes.
They understood it and they knew what they were
And I say this to people quite regularly. They go to me, "Oh, you need a deal pack before you raise funds." I'm like, I have never given a deal pack to anyone.
No.
But you asked me a question.
They invested because it's me.
Yeah,
that's it.
Absolutely. And so do banks, of course, as well. Yeah. Banks will look at someone and go, not sure we should be doing it with her or him or whatever.
Yeah.
So the one thing I would say amongst everything I do, relationships.
Yeah.
Relationships, 100%. Contacts, getting on with people, them understanding what you want to buy and keeping that consistent. So every day I'm consistent. I'm not up and down. I'm mentally consistent and my message is consistent every day.
Right. To close this out, we ask you to bring a question for us.
Oh, great. You didn't tell me that, did you? Right.
What have you got?
Nothing. So, what question have I got? What sort of question do I need to ask you, babe?
You can ask us anything.
Really?
Anything that you think our listeners would get value out of is probably the best way to put it.
Okay. Right. I've got one. Ultimately, what is your final ambition when you're my age and you're sitting back, not working anymore? What will your biggest achievement you think, you might have it already, be? And why?
It's a good question.
Oh, very good question.
I knew you were going to nod at me because this is unplanned.
I love it.
Tim doesn't like that.
Well, I realised that when I got the reams of stuff of my email, which I haven't read, of course. Victoria was brilliant. She sent me all this stuff. I went, thanks, Victoria. I don't normally bother with it all.
She said, I'm not sure if John really cares about the script too much.
That's a good question. So what we're talking about here then is, so for me, it's...
When you're sitting there with your grandchildren, and you look back at your career, what do you think you will have achieved by the time you're my age is what I'm saying.
I think for me, it would be, if I'm sitting there with my grandchildren, I don't think I'm going to, similar to what you talked about, I'm not going to retire. So
it's good news for your wife.
Well, it is good news
for my wife because she won't want you around all the time anyway.
Well, she's around, we work from home now, so it's pretty much too much. So, but it's the value of purpose.
Yes,
I would like to pass on to
your kids,
my children and my grandchildren.
Legacy.
And being able to, but by that time, rather than being in the mix as much as I am now,
agree.
It's the value, being able to demonstrate the value of the journey towards that and creating that sense of purpose with them.
And a legacy for them.
Yeah, I think a legacy for them is pretty much at this point. Unless there was something that drastically went wrong, I think the legacy for the not necessarily certainly the generation, my son and daughter, but the ones below that certainly, because I kind of think that no matter what you do in life, it's the next your direct descendants. It's probably the descendants after that are going to benefit the most from it.
Well, you know what they say: first generation make it, second generation keep it, third generation lose it.
Yeah, exactly. So if
somehow you have to
anything, it would be to be able to create that sense of purpose to that.
So third generation trust.
Yeah, a trust.
If you set it up in a trust, and at your age, and people listening on this, by the way, inheritance tax, if you set a family trust up now, because all investment property, once you get over, £800,000, it's 40%, and that's going to go down. So my accountant said to me, I've got a family trust set up, and they say, John, you should have done it 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I would say. Is a family trust, because if your granddaughters or your grandsons get married, have assets,
absolutely,
they can lose them through marriage. So that's the one thing. Advice.
Yeah. Trust and trust rules, of course.
Of course,
and what it can be
absolutely,
used for,
yeah. And it's not that expensive to set up, by the way. Don't listen to all these bullshitters tell you it's serious money. It's not. You can do it sensibly.
Yeah.
And what about you? Because you've had about 10 minutes now to think about something. I've had a lot to think about.
I had a few different scenarios, but I'm trying
going back to Australia, we hope, is one of them.
Try and be as different as possible to feel. But I think when I reflect on it, it's like it's the sort of the knowledge or the education of the kids that I lacked when I was younger.
Yeah.
And as a simple example, it took me till I was like 30 to know that there was this world of investing and alternative education and stuff like that. And obviously there's always going to be a mainstream route because the average person, that's the direction that goes. And there's the mainstream route, but it's understanding the difference of your own self-education, your own self-analysis, how you can benefit from that. And I think like we talked about before, like the relationships and the people you build with that are alternative to that mainstream route. You know, it's trying to instill that in the children and the grandchildren. That's more of the legacy type thing. But it's also showing that like we've got the legacy from this wealth and these assets, but it's because of this. And getting those influences and things like that. I think that's really important. A little bit like Phil, like we're not big on retiring, just sitting on the beach and doing nothing. But
although you are Australian.
Exactly, I do like a beach, so I do take good breaks.
And a barbecue.
And he left the beaches to come here, right? We have beaches, but nobody wants to see it.
And a bar. The one thing I would also say is knowing your strengths, because I'm very good at the front end of a deal, and I'm good at the back end of the deal. I'm good at selling, and I'm good at finding it and buying it. The detail is not really. I'm a bit of Boris Johnson. It's not really me. And I have people who do that for me, which, you know, on small deals I haven't, of course, because you've got to do it yourself. But when we're doing that, for instance, that tower block, 85 flats we're finishing and so on, the consultants fees are 1.2 million. Well, at 1.2 million, you like to think they're going to sort it out for you. So on the bigger stuff, you've got all that, but on the smaller
sometimes a lot
I'm
of
the same as everyone
pointless
else.
Meetings in that 1.2 million, because I used to be in that world. But,
yeah.
A lot of very pointless meetings. But anyway,
they don't like me. They're fun enough. They don't like me turning up because I walk in and go, "What's all the bullshit about?" I've got an hour. That's it. Not 5 hours.
That's how it should be.
Yeah,
you could cut that 1.2 million down to 800 grand just having that mentality.
It's crazy.
A WhatsApp.
Exactly. Absolutely. Meetings for the sake of meetings, but knowing your strengths and your weaknesses is really, really important, because no one's got it all. No one's got the whole package. And people, you've got to be honest with yourself as well. I know what I'm strong at, and I know what I'm weak at, and I think that's important, because then you can bring people in who are brighter and better than you. To be honest with you,
it's a very good point, that, because you have to have a lot of emotional intelligence to understand that what you're trying to do is partner with people who are better than you.
Yeah, absolutely. In certain areas. I totally agree. And being humble, you're only as good as your next deal. And if you've lost £1 million in the deal before, or you've won £1 million, it shouldn't bother you. Either way, you're only as good as your next deal.
It's just a learning.
Absolutely.
Way to put it.
If you made the money, if you made $1 million, you're not King Kong.
Yeah.
And if you've lost it, you're not a bloody idiot. The truth is, so you've got to be mentally consistent. And if there's a problem, for God's sake, tell the bank early. Do not bury your head in the sand. That's the worst thing you can do to your partners and to the bank.
Well, communicate with all lenders, isn't it? Investors,
and even
whoever.
if you think there's a potential problem, you think you might be able to get out of it, still tell your investors, because the investors, if they know early, they can put some money aside or support or help you. If you keep it quiet, and then they find out near the end and they can't find the money.
Or worse, Barry, you don't tell them and you disappear or something like that. That's the worst. I've seen that, by the way.
I know, it's awful. And I have to say, most people who are investing property, they know the risks. They know it can go wrong. But be honest with them is how I see
about what can happen. And
absolutely,
what
and also be honest along the progress, the process as well. Definitely,
Good
very good.
Yeah, good stuff.
Closes for the day.
I suppose lunch now, is it?
Lunch now.
Absolutely afternoon off, is it? Afternoon off, is it? Down the beach. Yeah.
We've got a few more podcasts.
Have you? That's hard work. That's hard work in a day.
Yeah.
It's quite hard work.
No,
guys.
It works well.
Well, it works well. We don't do much else on these days.
Yeah, on a Friday.
Just smash them out.
Fridays are our days.
So thanks for coming along.
My pleasure.
Loads of value there for our listeners. Again, if you have not liked or subscribed to this podcast, please do that. And until the next one.
Cheerio.
Thank you very much.
John.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Cheers.
Thank you once again for joining us on the Financial Freedom Podcast, sponsored by us at Property Portfolio Building. If you want to get in touch with us about today's podcast or any of the learning topics that we've gone through today, you can email us at podcast@invest-proc.co.uk or get in touch with us with whichever your social media platform of choice is. If you think you would add value to us as a guest on this podcast, you can please get in touch and let us know what you would be able to talk to us about. Other than that, we wish you well on your financial freedom journeys. And once again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.